Todmorden is an old industrial mill town in West Yorkshire. Free cabbages and carrots are helping the locals to reimagine how they use public spaces. It really started on very little. I mean, there wasn't a major funding, was there? It wasn't like this was kind of...
That was very deliberate.
The council came along and said, this is how it's going to be. Yeah. I mean, it was just a bunch of people, wasn't it?
It was very deliberate because we didn't want to be in a position where we were reliant on outside funding. We wanted something that anybody could do anywhere and not have to do with any sorts of capital. And that meant that you had to look creatively at what you had. And what we've got are people and resources of space, land. And that's the territory that you start the journey on, I suppose. And that's free. That's just a question of using it better.
So it's all very well growing stuff, but you need to suss out how to maintain it, and you need to suss out how to water it, and you need to make sure everybody's composting.
And how are you going to do that?
What we'll do is find a source of some small tubs that are people discarded, because they don't all need great big things, and we'll just give them away, just to get people thinking. And then when they've thought, oh, this is a whizzo idea, then they might apply to the council for one, or they might buy themselves a bigger one. You actually do it by just steadily working through, and instead of coming at it from a point of view of, oh, we'll just get a multi-million-pound plant to do it for us, you work out how you do it locally. And there'll be somebody somewhere. There'll be no end of opportunities for people to contribute. And I think the point about the exercise is to say to people, you know, this really is evidence that you don't necessarily have to be a grower to be involved.
No, I can
You might be a retired whizzo, you know, I don't know, solar engineer or something. Who knows?
Different people come to it all the time with different ideas. And the whole principle behind the project is not to turn anybody away, because you never know whether that might be a major breakthrough as a result of what they can offer. It's fun as well, it's exciting.
What do you do with all your produce? You have more here than you can eat yourself.
Well, we will have, won't we? Looking at the amount of tomatoes. Esther's been selling some to the local whole food shop, some of the excess courgettes. The lettuce, we had loads of lettuce, salad, and the parsley goes to Chapot Market.
Right.
Because that just keeps on coming.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're making a little bit of, back for seeds and that, but it's more do it for enjoyment.
Yeah.
And so eat some nice grub, but it's certainly getting there. I'll have to pick that tomato. It looks like it needs picking.
They're really beautiful, aren't they?
I'm a bit worried about the ones that are on the soil, like, but
Yeah, you could just probably lift them up.
put them on a little mat.
Yeah, I sometimes put them on jam jars.
Yeah,
so they kind of just sit inside the jam
We
jar.
tried putting a bit of straw underneath them, but the caterpillars seem to like that, and it's got infested with caterpillars.
Jam jars or pots. Even a pot, look.
Just something to keep them off ground, yeah.
There you go.
Very nice.
I mean, theoretically, if you keep feeding these plants and they'll just keep producing until sort of around Christmas.
Right.
You don't have to kind of, by any means, have to pull them up. If they're healthy, just keep them going, because you've got, unless you need the space, you've got cover. So as long as it stays warm enough, they'll keep cropping. What a funny thing to come to a graveyard, come away with a pink cauliflower.
Different people have taken on beds and take responsibility for managing them, planting them, keeping them tidy and such like. The spirit of that seems to be quite well managed and people stick to it. There's no form of overseeing of these. We don't run them as incredible edible boxes and keep an eye on them. We just expect and anticipate others will do that.
So how did this block come about?
Well, it's been here about 3 years, and it's partly because I think of the school having a no playground, so the kids didn't really have anywhere that they could do any growing themselves. And this is the most obvious next part of the land that's available around them. It just happens to be a graveyard.
And what were the council like when you first sort of approached them? I mean, is it easy just to go up and say, I want to use this land for something else?
No. I mean, people have territory, and I suppose the council, just like every other organisation, wants to make sure that that's not just encroached on and wrecked. And you know, they've got their duty of responsibility to that. But over time, the council got much more interested in it and much more warm to the idea, because we weren't going around trashing the place. We were interested in working with them on this.
Well, it's hugely positive, isn't it? It's not about stopping doing something, it's about starting doing something new.
And just imagine it differently,
Yeah.
you know. And I think what we're into in this sort of work isn't all the planting and all that stuff. That's really good and it's symbolically important, but it's not the core thing. It's about thinking about what we could be and what our communities could be and what our business could be and just how we live on the earth. And that is, I think that's profoundly important, that we really take time to think about that, but we constantly demonstrate as best we can of how we're doing it in our own situations. So, you know, so we grow stuff, so we share it, so we talk about the celebration of it, we have events, we constantly sort of tumble forward into a better future. And I like that idea of experimenting with it. And food is just such a lovely connector to do that with. You know, it's just such a lovely way in.